What's been the response to the book, either from lay people in the pews or from preachers? Have you heard back?
Yeah, it's been a little surprising in the sense that I expected a great deal of defensiveness from preachers. I expected preachers to say, well, now all you're going to do is create critics out of my congregation and other congregations, and people won't be able to benefit from the preaching of the Word, which was one of the fears which caused me not to write the book for so many years.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I've gotten very little of that. Most preachers who've written to me have appreciated the book, and many have said they've been chastened by it. But lay people that have responded have agreed with me, but it's been painful that they have. I've had a number of lay people say, I've been attending churches for 10 and 15 years trying to find one where someone will responsibly preach the Bible, and I just can't. And I thought I was going crazy, and then I read your book and realized the problem wasn't me, it was the preachers. I know of 2 or 3 specific cases where people have told me since reading the book they have implemented an annual review of the pastor of some sort. So I do know that some people have undertaken doing that, but I don't really have any way of knowing anecdotally, what percentage of those have decided to undertake that.
I know that it's always very difficult as a preacher to know what people are getting, and people are slow to respond. And I think the fear you had about turning people into hypercritics,
right,
and the sense in which we must subject ourselves to the preached word is very important. But that kind of good, solid feedback seems like a great point that you made. What role in a Reformed tradition do law and gospel play in our preaching of the word?
Well, it plays a slightly different role than in the Lutheran tradition, where in the Lutheran confessions, a sermon must preach both law and gospel. In the Reformed, basically, because of its belief in preaching Christ as Redeemer, allows for a slightly more flexible approach. We, for instance, could preach death and resurrection in a sermon. Now, ultimately, there are law-gospel reasons for our being mortal, of course. But we could, in some senses, look at human problems and the Redeemer's solution to it in a slightly broader way than that. But at the end of the day, to make sense of the gospel message, we have to understand that all of our woe, all of our sorrow, all of our affliction, and that of everyone around us, is ultimately due to Adam's rebellion and to God's just curse upon us because of that rebellion. And how Christ, the last Adam, and his obedience is the only solution to that.